tell you, comprehension is a skill that even college students struggle with. It's not.
Well, let's talk about highs and lows. The worst day.
My worst day was actually yesterday. I came to school and I had my bag sitting next to my desk. And I had to step outside to help out another teacher watch his classroom. It's around 8:20, I'm trying to check my roll book, and I look down and my bag's missing. And all the kids were like, oh, someone stole his laptops. I didn't want to create a commotion, so I just continued with class and acted like I didn't notice that it was gone. It's a hard pill to swallow.
Bayoji Akingbola grew up in New Orleans' affluent suburbs. His parents, both doctors, sent him to private schools. He went to college nearby at Tulane, and after graduating with a degree in political science, wanted to move. But Katrina changed his plans.
I was very keen on trying to do something for my city. I always had a love for children, and I thought a good way to give back would be to teach.
Bayoji joined Teach for America and completed his 2 months training. But when school assignments were handed out, he ran into trouble.
I was switched from parish to parish. I didn't even know I was teaching at Douglas until 2 weeks before the school started.
He was assigned to teach English at Frederick Douglass High School, and from there, almost nothing went right.
The first day of school, I stayed up till about 1 o'clock, just coming up with some handouts, but I didn't have a printer at home, and so I made sure I got here early, but the printer was not working. That was one challenge. Another example is that when I found out that I was at Douglas, at first I was teaching one thing, and then a week later, I was teaching a whole different thing. What does that mean to you as a student?
Over the next 3 months, Bayoji was moved 3 more times.
Which was crazy. I felt like as an employee, I wasn't really respected as far as trying to make sure that I had a stable environment. I know that there's, things happen, but it was just frustrating because when I looked around, I didn't see a lot of other teachers going through the same experiences that I was, at least in my school.
He's had a tough year. He's had a tough year with each group here.
Turns out Bayoji's principal, Wilfred Johnson, had never really needed him. He was already fully staffed when New Orleans assigned Bayoji to Frederick Douglass High School. So instead of having a classroom of his own, Bayoji became the school's permanent sub.
Do you feel some remorse about the year he had, having to move him around and stuff?
I do, and again, in his defense, any first-year teacher being bounced around in that manner, they're going to have some challenges. By the time you get to know one group of kids and you work up a system for working with them, you switch to another area or another group of kids and then another group of kids. So that's not quite a fair playing field for anyone.
In January, Bayoji was moved for a 4th time, but wound up staying with that class for the rest of the year. In May, looking back on his experience as a substitute, what worried him most was the likely effect of all those moves on his students.
High at-risk students that we teach, one thing that they need is familiarity. And one of the complaints I got for like the first 2 months was, our old teacher should be back. Why are you here? And they went through all the rigmarole with that teacher, and they just kind of got to that normalcy, and then bam, this new guy comes up with a whole different set of rules, different procedure, different mannerisms, everything. So at one aspect, you can't really fault them for having that distrust. What are we doing right now?
After settling in a class of his own, Bayoji thought his hard work and caring had brought him closer to his students, until almost the very last day of school, when both his computers were stolen.
It's heartbreaking. That's the emotion I felt, because I thought that at this time, I've spoken to parents, I've talked to kids outside of class, forged relationships, that stuff like this wouldn't happen because there's a mutual understanding that I'm here on your behalf and you're here to learn. And so just the fact that that didn't exist as much as I thought it did was just really hard for me to take.
In the end, the student who stole the computers was caught, and the property was returned to Bayoji. But he did not return to Frederick Douglass High School. At the end of his first year, he sought a transfer. Now he teaches at a different New Orleans public school.